Alright, we're looking at my Lego string instrument here. It's not a guitar, it's not a ukulele, it's just a contraption I made. Single string with different playing positions. The most important thing we're going to look at is the gear work here that holds the string tight so that it actually can make a sound. And then we have a small fretboard here where we can change that sound. And then on the other side here, the string comes through here. I don't know if you can see it. Goes into this box, comes out here, goes into this box, and comes out here. So you can have a playing position here, and you have two here. Now also, if you press on the string here, the pitch will change. If you wanted to construct a guitar or ukulele or dulcimer or anything of that nature out of Legos, the most important thing is how you're going to support the string. The body itself of this instrument is simply a large rectangle. You might hear some barks there, just ignore that. Large rectangle with some structure down the middle, support beams going across. The important thing is that it's going to be able to support the tension of the string. That's the hardest part, and that's why there's all this extra construction on this, is mainly to hold the string in place. First of all, let's look at how the string goes in on the bottom side. Hopefully it won't fall apart when I take this off. Still hold tension. Okay. In fact, it's got all this extra stuff over it. See if we can look at it without it just popping out as I take the structure off. So, there it is. Let me see if I can zoom in on that for you. Alright, and there's the ball of the string. These are ball-end strings. This is actually a guitar E string I used on this. You'll see it's through the hole of a Technique piece with this little piece that pops into the hole, but only has a little bit on the outside, and so because of that design, it has a hole all the way through. Those work great for this because that hole will catch the ball. If you didn't have that gray piece there, that Technique piece, it would slide right through that hole. So you need something that's going to hold the ball in place while the string goes forward. And you can see how the construction I put on top to hold the tension. That is your key thing, is it's going to be under a lot of pressure. If you don't build it strong, it's just going to explode. And actually, my first attempt, it did just kind of scatter pieces everywhere as the string popped off. Let me put that back together. And let's look at the most important part, which is going to be your gears, that tuning gears. Alright, now we're looking at the gearbox. I say this is a single string. I really don't have that many gear pieces, so I couldn't really find the pieces I needed to put another on, and for time constraints I decided not to bother. Busy person. First of all, right here I've got a piece. Let me show you this. Piece like this. This is just holding the string up. It's like the nut on the guitar. There is one on the other side, by the way, under this green, let's move over here, green cabinet. There is, oh, okay, I just knocked it off. There is another piece here that's serving kind of as a bridge. It's a little piece like that for the string to bend on. And there was, it just fell inside, there was a piece here just bending it over so it went over the bridge properly. Not going to worry about that right now. That's actually, this was holding that on. As soon as I took this off, that piece flew. Let's go back to the gearbox. I think that gives you a pretty good view of the gears system. It's actually fairly simple. This piece here is a larger, kind of fatter gear, and I used that to wrap the string around, catch the string in those grooves so that it would have something to catch on as you wound it. It was still kind of difficult to get it to stay on there, not the best design there. Just a spacer. That's just to hold it on, a little piece on the end. So there's the black rod going through the middle. This is the handle. It's got a little spacer, short piece, and then a piece attached here. That's where you're going to turn it from. This here is helping hold the string. Just a little flat gear piece. Not really gear, because it doesn't have gear marks on it, but just a flat piece there that can just a piece there that can wind around. Just a little simple piece with a groove in it. Then we have a tiny gear here. This is attached to the handle. It's all, technically that's all on the same bar. This whole area is attached to the handle. The large gear is just by itself here. It's got a beam going right here. Nothing else attached to it there, except it's in the groove of the small gear, so it turns with the small gear. And you might be wondering, well, why is that gear there? Well, it's there so that this gear can be here. This gear is the key here. This little gear here is holding everything together. Let's see if I can do this without putting my hand in the way. If I push that over, which is designed to do, you'll see all the gears moved. String no longer has tension. So that's the key. You'll see this piece popped out over here. Let's see. Let's just turn it sideways. You can see this piece has bricks around it, so when you push it in, it's braced against the bricks. That's what keeps it from moving. When pushed in, it locks the gears so they can't turn. There's a little play in there, which makes perfect tuning a little difficult, probably a lot difficult. And that's as much as it can move. So right now the string's not tuned, but if I pull the gear out, we turn it from the side, turn it, there's a limit to how much it can handle. About there is about as much as it can handle. And then push that in, it will come back a little as I let go. But now the string is under tension. I am plucking it down here, you just can't see it. So that's basically how that works. It's a pretty simple design. This is just to guide the string through. It's also kind of like a nut. I have almost 2 nuts here. That just guides the string through here, and then this is, you can't see, but I already showed you. I'm breaking things off. I slide over. And this is the nut here that guides it out. Keep it at the right height so you get a good sound out of it. Quick recap, if you want to try to build a gear system, I couldn't find anything when I searched for directions on how to build a tuning system out of Legos. I couldn't find any. I've seen instruments done, so I know other people have done it. So there may be better ways, but this is the way I did it. So recap here. There's a long beam. Obviously there's holes here and holes here, technique pieces. The long beam going through them. Lots of construction on top to hold them in place. Remember, the tension is going to be strong, so you have to make sure the bricks aren't going to pull off when you tighten the string. And so on that we just have to lock it in place, lock it on the other side and just kind of space it. This wheel is being used to grab the string, kind of wrap the string around it, so when I turn it doesn't just slip around, but actually follows around with the turning. The string is wrapping around this groove piece. This is all on the same bar that's connected to this handle, and then there's a small gear here, which is interfacing with this large gear. Obviously there's holes going down the side here. And this large gear has nothing else on that beam, just pieces to hold it in place. And then it's coming over to this small gear, which is on a rod that is not secure. It can be moved. And part of it's sticking over right here. So I got to loosen the tension when I do this. Loosen the tension a little, pull it over. You see the other end pop out. The other end is braced against bricks that are built over it here. Now that's popped out. I let go and all the tension rolls off. And that's really all there is to it. You just have to make sure you build enough structure to keep it strong. Turn it the other way. Oops, I broke it. Gonna need to get it back on. All right. Turn it the other way and re-add the tension as much as I can. Push that in. As I said, the problem is it will back off some as it locks in place. That makes perfect tuning a little difficult. That's why it's not the perfect system, but it works. Once the tension's on, pluck the string, and it works. And that's it. Good luck.